All right, this is an easy one. Does There Will Be Blood suck? Oh, no, it's pretty great. So I think it's an understatement to say that There Will Be Blood's story has a pretty grand scope. In following Daniel Plainview's journey from silver miner to oil tycoon, it comments on many themes: the pervasive greed within the elite, the true motivators and catalysts, however bad, of our economic and societal engine, technological innovation and the pull it has on society instead of the other way around, and the plight and lack of agency on the common man. What I like most about it, though, is how it challenges the always forward nature of progress. In the film, we see several kinds of progress taking place. We see Daniel's progress in his business goals and ambitions. We see society progress from a set of ranches and wild frontiers to our modern precursor. We see institutions like the church adapt as new concerns and wealth enter the fray. And even nature steadily advances as water is diffused around the once barren landscape. But as we see the characters move through these changes, it becomes apparent that life does not actually appear better and is arguably worse. Daniel himself is the clearest example of this, as he starts as a lone man toiling away in a silver mine and through lots of hard work and effort, ends up as a wealthy man who's just as alone in his mansion. He has no family that he is shown to care about, as he carelessly casts his adopted son aside. He has no friends that we know of, as he kills the only person we've ever seen him confide in. Instead, he only has business associates, and even they seem to disappear as he gets closer and closer to meeting his goals. Well, what part makes him worse than his starting point, you might ask? Well, how about his complete lack of ambition to anything constructive to society, as he devolves into a simple murderer? He's essentially a character study of the perfect capitalist. He's satisfied all his business goals, he's made his money. I mean, he's a billionaire by today's standards. He's affirmed his ego to himself and dominated all who have challenged his authority. But it's hard not to question exactly why has he done all this. And I think it's very easy to slap the old money can't make you happy phrase on him and call it a day, but it's more than him not being happy. We also need to consider the effect that he has on society. Daniel, of course, is a part of the world and would actually be a primary economic driver in his region. The truly scary part is that any individual, even one that just so happens to hate everyone and want no one else to succeed, just by the virtue of wealth, can have a massive influence on how society develops. For example, any wages and leases Daniel paid, the land he bought and likely sold, and the business culture he ran would have defined norms and propagated to future generations. A culture that is likely not very honest or friendly. We hear of some of Daniel's potential end goals. One, an old family house he wanted to buy and keep clean, or a need to get away from society, but these are clearly goals he could have reached much earlier in life, so I think it's fair to say that they aren't really a primary focus for him at all. If we look at the Standard Oil deal, the one that would have made him filthy rich without having to submit to Bandy's request, and still stroked his ego as the man who beat Standard to the punch, this deal ends with a perceived slight on Daniel's part about his son, which, honestly, it's debatable how much he cares about his son, but it is clear that Daniel's real reason for shutting this deal down is that he just doesn't know what he would do if he lost his oil fields, because he has nothing else. From his actions, Daniel's actual goal is just to crush his competitors, any competitors, by any means. An end goal perfectly allowed by our economic system, but, does this kind of motivator really build the society that we want? And this is not to say that wealth always produces individuals like Daniel, or that only psychopaths become wealthy, but instead to draw attention to how money gluts and movement can shape societies. And I think Daniel highlights an important part of our economic framework that is often overlooked in favor of price, effectiveness, or efficiency: the actual character of the actors in the system. Maybe a reason for society to move a little slower, with the next businessman promising a rosier future for a quick dollar, or a reason to back away from the partner claiming to only worry about making money no matter what. I'll finish with our first view of Little Boston when Daniel and his son approach camp on the Sunday ranch. They're greeted by a quaint household on a large tract of land with seemingly enough supplies for the family. Sure, it's no life of luxury, but they have enough. Enough even to share with the Plainviews, two unannounced strangers. Were they really worse off before?